mean, I've been touring the States, I would say, since 2007, roughly. And I've been coming and going to LA mostly. And that was always kind of my base. But then 3 years ago, I thought, well, you know, I'm here so much, I might as well move here, you know? And the weather is fucking awesome. So, yeah, why not? This is my studio, we're close. And next to my studio, there's a strip joint right there. It's how appropriate, next to a studio. It's called Skin. See, I do it all myself. Carry the coffee, carry the bags. I need an assistant, that's what I need, right? So this is one of my favorite keyboards. This is Sub 37 by Moog. I'm actually working on a track only with this sound. There's nothing else happening except drums. I have drums, which are sort of like third party, and everything else is just one sound. So I'm doing a lot of modulation and filtering and you know, changing the LFO rates, and really simple melody, but really complex operation, if that makes sense. I love the filter on this thing. I hope your camera can pick up the sub on this. This is the only thing I can't record in MIDI, so when I decide to record this, I have to do this live, like all the speed changes. You know what I mean? That cannot be recorded in MIDI, so like I have to do this live, which is awesome. You know, like, because that's the whole thing about performance. Like, you know, I play the riff in, right, and it's recorded in MIDI. MIDI is like the you know, sort of communicating between the laptop and the synth. So I recorded the MIDI for that. So now the computer knows what notes to keep playing. When I press play, it will just play that bass line over and over. I've done the filtering, I've done a bunch of stuff, and that's all been recorded as like messages, like instructions. So I can play that back, and keyboard repeats all that information. But this thing here, which is a really exciting part of the sound, is changing the speed of how the notes hit. I have to do that live. So when I decide to record that sound in, when I commit to it, this is like a performance, you know, which is cool because I'll never do the same thing again. So I made this second album of mine, which is called With You. And I made the album, and the music was very, well, not really dancey, because I make dance music, but the music wasn't too dancey. It was a lot more cinematic / dance. And I thought, well, I don't know, it inspired me to think of this idea to make a short film that's scored by this album. So I put the tracks in order of this album, and I listened to it, and I saw a story, like a basic sort of story. And I thought, wow, this is like a love story of some sort. So I called a friend, and we literally started putting this script together. And then called another friend, and we just put this whole project together, and I ended up directing a short film. That was my film school. That was my real film school, like being on the set with the camera, with the actors, directing, you know, wardrobe, locations, and all that stuff. You know, it was real film school. My other buddy, the producer, has a few scripts, and I thought, well, you know, I like this script. Why don't we make this? And he said, this is like a full feature. I said, yeah, that's what I mean. Let's make a feature film. And that's what we did. So the fun part of doing the film is seeing the music as we were making it. You know, obviously I had the script before we shot the film, and when I read the script, I saw pieces of music where, you know, where it should fit and how it should sound. I even had to make 3 songs before we even shot the film, because it was that the scenes were dependent on the music. You know? So it was fun to be able to create from like a script. You know, do a song for a scene that I know what it should feel like. You know, it was very specific. Like I could imagine before we shot the film, I knew what it had to be. So you create music from almost like a guide. The film is called Suburban Cowboy, and it's a story about a young kid in Long Island, New York. He's like a mid-level drug dealer, you know, a regular-looking kid, not like a fancy, big, flashy gangster, more like a person you see on the street and you wouldn't know is a drug dealer. So anyway, a story about him that one of his boys robs a wrong person and gets him into shit, and the story is about him sort of getting out of shit. So this is basically the opening of the movie, the opening titles. It's all hand-drawn animation, and it's a song that I made for the intro. I mean, I scored the whole film, but this is particularly the most danciest track on the soundtrack, and I had to make this before we shot the film, so the animator can actually make the animation. That's it.